Hey, what's going on, everybody? Michael Massey here. I will not be on tonight's happy hour episode as I'm going to my cousin's funeral, but enjoy it anyways. Of course, I did a song for you guys. We get it almost every time. Those talking heads on NASCAR's dime, they say next gen is a delight. Everybody that's dousing fans in gaslight. Everybody there has lost their sight. They don't see that fans are right. Disagree with them and they will fight. Everybody that's dousing fans in gaslight. Dousing fans in gaslight. Everybody feels talked down to slighted. I'm so tired of the sight. Everybody that's dousing fans on gaslight.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour Show. I'm one half, or should I say one-third of your host, Mr. Bryan Nolen. Not here with us is the guy that you just heard, Mr. Michael Massey. Thoughts going out to him on the loss of his cousin, so hopefully he'll be feeling better. Hopefully he takes all the time he needs. But the other half of the compadres, Mr. Dalton Hopkins, is here at Pit Lane CVT. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm great. I feel like Massey's going to get yet another phone call from certain folks. I swear, man. He just does not care. He just does not care.
Incoming phone call from Mike Ford.
Yeah, I'm good though. It's gonna be a good one.
Replacing Michael for this week, hopefully at the least, or at the most, I should say, is our producer Trenton Worsham. Trenton, thanks for stepping up into the backup role. So I appreciate it. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm like you. I work out in the heat for a day job, and I'm, feeling it. So fall's about to be here.
Oh, praise Jesus! And we got a very, very special guest. He's the owner of Alpha Prime Racing. Had a eventful day at Watkins Glen. We saw a lot of carnage being thrown around, and we'll talk all about that and more. Mr. Tommy Joe Martin's on the program. What's going on, man? How are you?
I am having a relaxing evening during a Xfinity Racing off week, so I am having a good day.
How before we dive into the topics, just how tough is that? I mean, what were you guys on for, like 8 straight weeks or something before you have a bye week? Just how tough is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably the longest stretch of our schedule that we just got through there. So it was, God, I'm going to say it's probably more than 8, honestly, Brian. I think it was like 13 in a row, something like that we did. Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, it's a lot on the guys, right? I mean, obviously my job is not physically demanding like theirs is. So it's just a lot of work, and you go through these ups and downs over the course of that many races, right? There's going to be weeks where you feel like you're really, oh man, we're in good shape. Everything's going good. And we've had some good races here where we got everything kind of rolling. The thing is, ultimately, with 3 teams, the more teams you do, the more chances that not all of them are going to have good days. So there's just ebbs and flows, and there's always something that you're going to wind up being working on.
Yeah, 9 straight weeks you guys were on, and then you have an off week, and then you're back on for 10 straight weeks. 3, especially the difficult challenge going from Daytona to Portland and then back to St. Louis. That's gonna be the tricky part. But let's just dive on into our topics. Let's dive on into the first one. Once again, we go to a road course and SVG comes out on top. Trenton, I know you wanted to dive on into Watkins Glen and road course and SVG and maybe the fatigue that we're seeing on social media.
Yeah, so I get the road course thing, but at the same time, we also have a lot of oval tracks. But I think road courses are unique. I've always, enjoyed them, even, growing up watching it. But I think my issue more so is with the Shane Van Gisbergen, fatigue and stuff, and everybody, oh, he won again. But we're forgetting that in the 90s, Jeff Gordon won like 10, 13 races a season. Larson in 2021 won double-digit races. I mean, we have guys who've won more than this in a season, and people are celebrating them as one of the best, as some of the greats in the sport. Then you have a guy who's hired to do this, when 4 of them, and it's like, oh, this guy again. He won again. This is 4 wins out of 30 plus races that on the schedule. I mean, he could win Roval. I mean, it's part oval, part Roval. So I'm not 100% putting my money on him to, whip the field on that one. But the traditional road course is like, I mean, we got to sit here and appreciate it because, we all see, I was just watching a clip, some page on Twitter posted of Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon from Richmond 2003 battling each other. And we're sitting here like looking back at that nostalgia. I mean, in 10 years, I'm going to be sitting back here looking at SVG, be like, oh my God, look what we just had. We had that. And so that's where I'm at with it. When we wrap this topic up, I do have another point to make, but I'll let you guys give your thoughts as well.
Dalton, you want to go ahead, buddy?
Yeah, sure. So to anybody who is upset about Shane Van Gisbergen just tearing it up on the road courses and doing as well as he does and winning up to 4 now this year and what will very soon be 5, I'm sure, when we get to the Roval. Unlike Trenton, I do think he's going to win that race. Y'all would have never survived the Jimmy Johnson era. I had to grow up watching that guy win 10 races a year, and there was nothing anybody could do about it. He was just that good. He and that team was just that good. And I think you also have to take into an account of this next-gen car, right? And I'm sure we'll get to that later. We'll get to that and, the road course fatigue and whatnot. But you have to take into account of how this car has divided the fan, not even divided, but it's kind of like maybe united the fan base against it. Everybody is just, the passing is just so difficult, and there's just better products. It's so obvious that it's the car because there's better products in the lower racing series. And case in point, we saw the Xfinity Series this weekend. But I think that when you see a guy like Shane still able to just mollywop the rest of the field and still win by over 10 seconds, which I'm going to butcher this stat because I read Steven Stump's stat sheet yesterday. I edited it yesterday, and it was, I think he's only the second person in the 21st century since Martin Truex Jr. I'm butchering it, but he's like the only person who's done it twice in the single season, aside from I think it was Martin Truex Jr. I probably got that way wrong, but point being is that it doesn't happen very often, and the fact that this has occurred again is so fascinating to me because he's just that good.
He joins Martin Truex Jr. as the only driver to win multiple races in a single season by over 10 seconds since 1995.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for fact checking me. I need it more often than not. Tommy, you're a guy that I feel like would appreciate a level of dominance like this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is one of those don't hate the player, hate the game moments. To Trenton's point, this is why this guy was brought here, right? We have a format that rewards this. It rewards specialists. You just have to win one race, and you are a top 16 team. That is what it is. So it doesn't really matter how good your team is. If you win one race, you're now a top 16 team, and that is the NASCAR Cup Series. You look at a specialist, which is what SVG is. We're seeing him develop into a more well-rounded driver, and he's learning this at the highest levels that we have to learn it at, right? The Xfinity level and the Cup Series level. It was the same thing with the Xfinity car last year. I actually think the Cup car suits him a little better than the Xfinity car even did. I think some of the learning lessons that he had on ovals in the Xfinity car, it was the moon to him, driving that car around like Darlington. That's like, what is this? But I think now that he's had that year under his belt, he was so fast on road courses right off the jump. It's like that's what's getting him the opportunity. It's the same thing that is getting, so many other guys opportunities throughout the Xfinity Series specifically, but throughout the history of the Cup Series, it was kind of the same thing. Like guys that were ringers, we have now just taken that to like the absolute extreme level where we're like, we actually literally don't care if you're a 35th place driver at every other track on the schedule. If you were a first place driver one time, this was already worth the investment.
Another thing too is we forget that pre-Atlanta, there was 4 super speedway races, 2 at Daytona, 2 at Talladega. And especially in the mid-2000s, who was the one guy who would surefire be the guy to beat at those races? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Was anybody mad when Dale Earnhardt Jr. would win maybe 4 super speedway races in a season?
Well,
that was a specialty. I mean,
it's the most popular driver.
Well, take that away.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, like that's an Earnhardt thing, the super speedways and stuff. But I mean, that was 4 races that, you know, he'd be dominant at and be the guy to beat. And like, it was like, okay, that's his thing. That's his specialty right there. Jeff Gordon was the road course guy, you know? I mean, him, Tony Stewart, those were the guys who look out for in road courses. We just have more of them now, more of those types of tracks.
We do have a lot of them, Trenton. And ultimately, I think that's what some of the pushback of this is coming from. I don't think it's just straight SVG hatred. I mean, who could dislike this guy? He's a very likable guy. I think he's a fun character. I think he's a fantastic race car driver.
Punts rugby balls into the stands.
I mean, he's fun.
Free rugby ball to the fans.
So, I mean, like when Marcus Ambrose came over here, we forget about how good Marcus Ambrose was on road courses. I mean, you're talking about one of the elite road course drivers we've ever had on road courses in Marcus Ambrose. I see a lot of the similarities there. It's basically we're doing Marcus Ambrose 2.0. And the gap that he's got on the field is a bigger gap than Marcus Ambrose had on the field. And I would say that is because of the next gen car. Because we have theoretically leveled the playing field a lot more. Marcus Ambrose drove for Richard Petty Motorsports. He was racing against Kyle Busch at the front of the field driving for Joe Gibbs, right? So like basically Marcus Ambrose was carrying a car further than SVG is having to carry the next gen car relative to the competition. And so you are seeing that skill gap there just shown overwhelmingly more because theoretically we've leveled the cars out more. But I think ultimately, like some of the fan frustration with the format, with the fact that we're going to so many road courses, I think some of that is bleeding over to the frustration with SVG. To be clear, Christopher Bell won a road course race this year. Just reminding everybody. Christopher Bell did win a road course race.
He's one of 2 drivers other than Connor Zilich and SVG that have won a road course race in both the Xfinity and the Cup Series this entire year. Only 2 guys.
I also think it's just like the lack of non-road courses. I mean, 3 out of the last 7 races for the Cup guys have been at a road course. You had Chicago, Sonoma.
Brian, you're get my team on the case. Love Kennedy. Love that we've been willing to shift the schedule in the last few years. Like, I'm actually not one of those people that is just always bitching about this. But ultimately, I think nobody that is sitting in that office, unfortunately, has really had to run a race team where you're trying to figure out, okay, now I have to have multiple of these cars, right? Like, because if I'm running them like 3 of 5 races, I probably got to have 2 of them now. And for a smaller team like us, that obviously winds up becoming a little bit of an issue. And then we can get into you got to raise sponsorship. And if you can't do it right, then don't do it. And it's like, no, like, let me tell you what happens. You run Chicago, and then Brad Perez gets in a wreck and you try to fix the car in 2 days and send it to Sonoma. That's what winds up happening. And that's what happens to a lot of teams. And specifically for the bigger teams, they just have to spend more money to have more inventory. So like this idea of, well, it's road course season, that freaking sucks. Let me tell you, that sucks. I think it sucks for the fans. I think it sucks for the teams. Like ultimately, our season, if you say it's 36 races, right, Trenton, like up there in the Cup Series, they run 36 points events, right? Okay, we have how many different track types? We got road courses, we got 1.5 miles, we got speedways, we have short tracks, we have like 1 mile tracks, like, and you know what I'm saying? Like we kind of have these 2 miler, we have all these different types of tracks. Mm-hmm. Why are we not looking at this like basically every 6 races, we just want to repeat that? Instead, we're going to go in a row, we're going to go like Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol. And it's like, why? Like, what are we doing? Like, first of all, the fans that are in the Carolinas and Virginia area, like we can, if they wanted to, they could get to a lot of these races. But you're going to put 3 of them in a row? Like, are you not hurting the gate? Like, that feels kind of weird. It's like, so I've never understood. I mean, I'm sure there would be people that make a lot more money than me with probably a lot more brains than me that could be like, well, actually, historically this date is or whatever. I'm sure there's something to this, but like I've just always thought from the fan perspective, it'd be way more interesting to me to watch like a traditional 1.5 miles, like a Vegas, and then maybe like a high tire wear 1.5 miles and a short track and a road course and a speedway. And now we have 6 speedway races because we go to Atlanta twice. So why is that not the thought process here as we're putting this thing together?
I've always said that I feel like 6 road courses was like the perfect number because it was a perfect 6th of the season. There's 36 races. You have this many track types. You have 6 super speedways. You have 6 road courses. So what you're suggesting, I feel like works out. Like it kind of fits where it's just like you just line them up and then you do it again and again and again where you don't have like 3 road courses within 4 or 5 weeks or whatever have you. And if we're going to do this, I'm going to tell you this right now. Sonoma should be at the beginning of the season because we need to race on the grass. We need to race where it's still got grass. So.
Dalton, I think you again, I'm going to stir up the NASCAR rumor mill here. One of the things that I have heard is that you might be getting your wish.
Yes!
Man, I hope it. I hope it.
I don't know if it's a good thing or not for us. We used to do this thing called the West Coast Swing. This is back when I started, right? So one of the first years I ever drove for BJ McLeod. It was the second year. It was 2018. I think it was 2018. So the beginning part of the year for smaller teams, that is a really important part of the year because it sets you up for points, right? And points means provisionals, which now are we going to make all the races, right? So like the beginning of the year, everybody really takes their best shot at this as far as trying to run good for those first few races. And I was very fortunate. BJ McLeod asked me to run the West Coast Swing for him. It was in a row. It was Vegas, Phoenix, and California is what we ran at the time. So Auto Club Speedway, right? So it was, you had to run those 3 in a row. I'm pretty sure that was the thing. Maybe it was California, Vegas, Phoenix. It was something like that.
It was California, Vegas, Phoenix. Yeah.
California, Vegas, Phoenix. Mm-hmm. All right. So that was the idea. And the thing was, so PJ asked me to do this. I'm like, yeah, awesome. I'm living in Vegas at the time. I was working at Ron Fellows driving school. That was the day job. I got to go race on the weekend. I did not get paid, but I was going to go run these races for BJ because I think part of it is like, well, I don't have to pay travel for this guy. He's just going to drive to him. It's like, yeah, and I did. But ultimately, the deal was, okay, you have a car. You have one car. Your job is, by the way, we got to score a lot of points here. We need you to run good. But also, you can't wreck this car for 3 races. Like, I'm talking like you can't scratch it. Like, we can't fix it. We're out here on the West Coast. We literally are staying in the South Point parking lot. That is where we're at. So, like, figure it out for 3 weeks in a row, no scratches on the car. And so that was the job. And that to me is like, obviously we don't get to show this very much, right? Like, honestly, nobody really cares. I don't know where I finished. I think I did a deal with Garrett Smithley. He was driving for JD Motorsports at the time. But the idea here was like, we were both kind of in the same boat. So it was like, who was going to score more points? But also if you got damaged, that like counted against you over the course of like 3 weeks. And I think he beat me by like 2 spots. And it really pissed me off because BJ kind of screwed me on a pit strategy call one time. And that really made me mad. And I was like, okay, first of all, I had this one, to be clear. But like that stretch, those 3 races in a row, I think we've kind of gone away from that the last couple of years, right? It's just been Vegas and Phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. That is a lot, just to be clear, that is a lot easier for a team like mine because theoretically I can put the Vegas and Phoenix car in the trailer. And now we're good, right? Or if I really wanted to run those races back to back, if it's Vegas, theoretically, Vegas is a pretty green flag oriented racetrack, right? Like it gets a little more spread out. I could theoretically run that car back to back. But when you put the road course in there as the third one, now I got to have completely different cars. And now we got to plan on staying out there for multiple weeks because you can tell the guys, look, guys, we're going to Vegas. You're going to fly into Vegas. You're just going to stay in Vegas for like 3 days. They're like, cool. Then we'll drive to Phoenix. Awesome. You're like, hey, man, we're going to stay out there for basically 3 weeks. Nobody's cool with this, to be clear. Nobody thinks that's fun. And now I got to try to figure out how to shuttle cars back and forth and all that. So from a logistical standpoint, 3 in a row, when you look at that on a map, you go, 3 in a row. That'll be good for them. And it's like, it is not good for us. 2 in a row, pretty good. 3 in a row, really shitty. Don't do it, especially when it's different types of racetracks. Very bad. Not good. So don't do that.
So for you, Tommy, next year with the race in San Diego, how do you, in your world, how are you wanting that to play out? I guess because you mentioned having the car there, you guys having to stay there a long time. What's your ideal schedule? Maybe you know something that we don't, but what's your ideal schedule with that race next year in terms of being on the West Coast?
I mean, if I could frame it, like obviously that's a long drive, right? I mean, with Portland, right? Like this is my frustration with Portland is like we're doing this after Daytona. Like, sick, cool, man. And then we got a race right after it. Awesome, dude. It's like that's 48 hours one way for a one-off.
Yeah.
Like, cool, dude. Like, thanks for this. Like, no offense to the people in Portland. I've actually had a good time. We've gone up there enough now. Like,
Tommy, I interviewed you in Portland a couple of years ago.
Yeah, like
so we've had a connection there, buddy.
Like, dude, I don't mind Portland. It's like I don't have a problem with Portland. I have a problem with the fact that it's basically forever away. Like, it is forever. Like, it is so far. I have had truck drivers quit over the fact they didn't want to go there. To be clear, that has happened to me because they just go, I don't want to drive that far.
That's crazy.
Like the number of mysterious illnesses, family ailments, just like, I forgot. I told my cousin that she's getting graduated. Or what. Like, I mean, just like, she's graduating right now. It's like, what? Like, it's just mysteriously always around the Portland race every single time. It's like, this is the thing. It's like nobody wants to be in a freaking truck for 100 hours, dude. Like, this is the schedule. I'm going to lay this out to you. I'm just going to say this to you guys and tell me if you want this job. You've got to leave Tuesday morning. You are going to probably get there like Friday afternoon. You're going to drive 48 straight hours, basically one way, right? That's if you did not stop. It's you and another guy for 2 straight days in a truck. You're not stopping. The only time you're stopping is for fuel. You're digging the whole time. 2 full days, right? There's people that literally can't fly to the West Coast without complaining about it, to be clear. They can't be in an airplane for 5 hours without having to use the bathroom 3 times, right? So now you got to be in a truck, not stopping, 48 straight hours. Also, it's 48 straight hours in a truck. Like, you're probably going to blow a tire. You're going to have something bad happen, right? You're going up like steep elevation. I mean, traffic jams, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Okay. You're also in a truck that's worth like $1.5 million worth of crap sitting in it with the rig. So now you got to try 48 straight hours there. You're going to get there on Friday, right? Maybe late Thursday. Let's call it the wee hours of Friday morning, right? You don't have a hotel. I mean, you're not going to get a hotel room. I mean, it's like 2:00 in the morning. So guess what you're doing? You're just sleeping in the truck again. Mm-hmm. And now the team is going to fly in on Friday afternoon, pick you up. You're going to get 1 day in a hotel room. Oh, wait. No, you're not, because the haulers park at 7:00 at night on Friday. So actually, you're going to get the plane's going to land with the team on Friday afternoon, and then you're going to have to sit there at the track all day because we don't get there till like 5. So then what am I going to do? Like, pick you up for an hour? So now you got to park, and now it's 9 p.m. So now you're actually in this truck for like literally 72 straight hours, maybe even a little longer. And now you're going to go back to the hotel. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to wake up. You're going to go back in the morning. And now you're going to work all day. And also, none of the pit crews are there because it's Darlington. So now none of the pit crews are there. Oh, it's okay. We got 3-minute break stops. So now you got to suit up and be a gas man and set up and tear down the pit box. And then, by the way, when the race is over, the crew chief's like, dude, you got to get this trailer home. We got to get some stuff off this trailer because we're going to run St. Louis. So now you're going to load up on Saturday and it's got like, be like, hey, dude, we need this trailer back like literally in 48 hours, which means the trailer would get back theoretically Monday night or Tuesday at 5 a.m. So now you're in it again for another 48 hours. So you're basically going to live in this truck for like a week. And the only time you're not going to be in the truck is going to be when you sleep for like 8 hours. And then when you're working all day, just sweating your ass off. And they're like, man, I don't know why we can't get anybody that wants to do the Portland thing. It's like, I got a couple ideas. That's freaking terrible. Like, that's awful. Like, no wonder nobody wants to go do that. So when that is preceded or superseded by a break week, that is one thing. But when it is not,
friend of the show.
Sucks. Right? Like Ryan Ellis doesn't care. He's going to fly there on a private charter jet and get off and be like, thanks guys for the car. And then he's going to fly home. But for the guys, it freaking sucks.
Meanwhile, the truck driver's like, cool, thanks, Ryan.
Oh, and by the way, and also for the crew, right? So like, just to inform the fans about what a normal race week routine is for most of the guys, right? Like, okay, we come into the shop on Monday. You're doing tear down on last week's car. You're doing final prep on this week's car. Tuesday, you're doing setup. And then like Wednesday, you're kind of final nut and bolt and you load it. And then it goes somewhere on Thursday. And then we race on Friday and Saturday, right? That's our standard work week. Well, in Portland, that you can't send it out on Wednesday. So the trailer's got to be loaded by Monday night. So now you still have a 3-day work week. So when is the 3 days? Oh, well, Daytona is Friday night. When is the race over?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be over at maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. So now you're going to fly back. And now it's like, oh, whoops, just kidding. You actually got to go to work on Saturday. Oh, and Sunday. Oh, and Monday.
So
like,
the way this weather has been,
sucks.
Tommy, it might not be over until Saturday afternoon.
Well, Dalton, you remember a few years ago when we first did the Portland thing, we had a race in Charlotte before it. And the thought was we're going to do this home race and then we'll go to Portland, right? So it's kind of like, all right, well, at least everybody's getting to be home for a week before we go do this thing, right? Which actually, that made sense. The problem was it rained out, of course. So then we were all delayed, like getting out of there. And then it wound up jacking up like a lot of the other logistical stuff about how we get a lot of our equipment up there with other stuff. And so, yeah, it just turned into a little bit of a mess. And so like, I think ultimately all of us as a racing community really, like from when this was announced, there was a lot of like, from a lot of the people in the garage. I can say that right off the bat, both like for the city itself, which at the time was kind of in the limelight for not very good reasons. And then also just the fact that we had to go so far, right? I think most of the people you would talk to in the Xfinity Series now would tell you that Portland's actually a fun race. Mm-hmm. And we actually like going up there. The track's fun. It puts on a good race. Mm-hmm. Everybody's been super cool. Like it's a good crowd. Like we've enjoyed it. It's just good grief. It is a long way. And there's just almost nothing you could frame it around to make it convenient. Like the most convenient it probably was Sonoma, which does break my rule, right, of the Portland Sonoma back-to-back thing. But actually, we did that, and a lot of guys did it, where they had the same road course car back-to-back weeks, fix a fender, change the brakes out, whatever. Here you go. Here's your road course car. Like, and that actually worked out fine. But doing it the way we're doing it this year that is a challenge. Yes.
So Devin on YouTube, you don't have to like dive into the specifics of this, Tommy, but like, is it worth it for the teams in which you guys get paid? Are you guys breaking even? You guys do get a profit, even though you're having to travel 48 hours. How profitable is this? Let
me tell a story.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
So the first year we went to Portland. By the way, everybody that I'm gonna get off of this. There's gonna just be like pitchforks in my DMs of people that live in Portland. You son of a bitch! Don't you dare show your face here. It's like, to be clear, I love Portland. I've had a great time. But like the first year I went up there, this is a true story. We loaded everything up. Ryan Ellis was driving for us. I think the first year we went up there. No, he wasn't. It was the second year. So the first year we went up there, we had Stephen Parsons and Andy Lally. Those were our two drivers, right? So we go up there and like literally it was just like a mess. Like we had some sort of trailer problem, whatever, something happened. I think it was the second year. But the first year,
the second year, because I interviewed you about that.
The second year we went up there, literally everything I owned broke all at the same time. It was like every single thing. The trailer broke. We had to get a replacement trailer. We broke both of our trucks. It was like 3/4 of everything that we owned, transportation-wise, broke on this one trip. So that was pretty tough. Obviously, that was not great. But the very first year when we went up there, it was a struggle. I think we had an issue and had to like get a truck replacement or something and get up there. And so a lot of people went through this, Brian, like a lot of people struggled to get up there even the first year. And at the time I was pretty irritated. I think the entire industry was, and specifically revolving the question there about the pay. Because at the time, year one, it was one of the lowest paying races of the year. So everybody was having these like just brutal travel problems and all this getting up here. And then you get there and then you just get kicked in the nuts by the fact that it's the lowest paying race of the whole year. And so NASCAR actually had a representative who I'm not going to name. But I have known her for a long time now. She's in NASCAR leadership. And she's an angel, and I love her very much. And they literally sent her out as like the sacrificial lamb. It was like she went to every single trailer, and so she came down to us, and I was like, "Oh, you making the rounds?" And she was like, "Yeah, we'd like to see like what we can do to maybe improve things for next year." And of course, I was like, "Well, you can start by paying us more." For going up here this is the worst paying race on the schedule. It's the furthest thing away. And so they did change that for the next year where that was more. But, and here's the third part to this. That is completely out the window now. That is not how the Xfinity Series operates anymore. This year, and I know none of this is like public info, but they have flattened out the payouts. We get paid, if you're a full-time team, you get paid the exact same amount for every race you run in the schedule, whether that is Charlotte or Portland. It is paying the exact same. Now, the catch here is you get bonus money if you're running all the races, right? So if you're running all the races, it kind of levels itself out, right? Like you don't really care that you're getting paid more at one or the other, right? Like I remember you used to think of the Xfinity Series schedule. It was like, well, Texas pays really good and Phoenix doesn't pay very good, but Kansas pays great, but Charlotte doesn't pay very good. And like a lot of that was framed around like travel stuff, I think, for some reason. It's kind of how they adjusted the payout, and there was some TV stuff in there too. But now that's flattened out. So every single race other than 3 paid the exact same. So a couple of guesses here for you guys. There are 3 races on the NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule that pay differently than the other 30. What are the 3?
The standalone races.
I'm going to guess Mexico City.
Mexico City was 1.
Rockingham.
No, pays the same.
Daytona?
Yes.
Daytona is the highest paying race of the year. That is Daytona 1. Daytona 1.
Yeah.
Daytona 2 pays the same as everything else. There's one more.
Phoenix 2?
I was going to guess that as well.
The championship race at Phoenix is the
Wow. Brian, oh my God.
Okay.
That is it.
Let's go, Nolan.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, it's not like, oh, it's double. It's like, it's not that, but it's a little more. Daytona is about double. I mean, it's a lot more. And that's why there's so much focus and attention put onto that race.
Now, I guess to wrap this up, which could segue into another topic here, regarding change and money and all that kind of stuff. My whole thing is like, you're going back to the SVG thing. If you want things to change, this guy has to win a championship this year some way, somehow. Because think about it. Matt Kenseth won a championship, didn't want to race. Boom, we got the chase. Jimmy Johnson dominated, changed. We got the playoffs. Penske's been gaming that the last few seasons now. Now we're rotating the last season. You have a guy hired to win road course races, win a championship. Boom, the championship format will change the next season. Like, because Trackhouse is gaming the system. So while we're, I guess segueing into the whole thing about the fans and the playoffs and the car and all that stuff, SVG somehow winning this championship this year would be the catalyst for that. Because once you beat NASCAR at their own game in that way, they change it. They always have. Going back to Matt Kenseth.
Yeah. So I thought about this, right? I think you're right. I think if something really fluky and weird happened, there'd probably be a lot of discussion. But I've thought about this because I've seen a lot of debate. The format, everybody's mad at TV having an influence on this. Everybody's mad at the people that want the full seat, like people in the NASCAR media, which earmuffs to the three of y'all, but like just overall, like just God Almighty, just make me want to just like just
now.
There's levels of like protecting the shield that like I have never seen before when it comes to like talking through just pure delusion about what we're talking about. But we're not gonna call anybody out here. This is a friendly show. Ultimately, you saw like Mark Martin on one complete side of the debate, right? Love Mark Martin. He has been a supporter of mine in my career.
Saw him firsthand.
It meant so much to me to have a legend like him care about just like kind of a small timer like me. I mean, I'll tell you, that it literally was like one of the most cherished things that's ever happened to me in my racing career, where I was like, oh my God, Mark Martin thinks I'm good. This is incredible. And so like, he is a traditionalist, right? If we were going to line it up this way, I am a traditionalist. I grew up watching this in the 90s. I am 38 years old. That is my NASCAR, without a doubt. I watched this at a time when the schedule was pretty much like, let's see here. We're going to draw a circle about 8 hours away from Charlotte, and we're going to go everywhere within that twice. And then we're going to go to Phoenix like one time and Sonoma once. And that's about it. That's the whole schedule. It's like, what are we doing? We're going Martinsville twice. We're going Rockingham twice. We're going Wilkesboro twice. Charlotte twice. Like, that was the schedule. Atlanta twice. Like, that was the schedule. So, like, I've been a fan of this for a long time. And I am a traditionalist because I think in the same way that we see the importance of college football, where it's like every game matters. Well, because essentially every game is the playoff. Because when you're trying to like make it to the championship or whatever it was, right? It's like, well, one loss winds up being a huge loss. So like, even though that game, Ohio State playing Appalachian State, you're like, well, they should win. It's like, well, but if they don't, it's kind of like, it's going to kind of screw things up, over. Right? Yeah. So like that does add a level of importance to every single race, right? Because I think there is a lot of frustration with, and I think Mark is correct about this. Why are we talking about the playoffs so much? We're talking about it so much, dude. Like, we're talking about it literally in every single thing. We're talking playoffs, like every stage. We're like, oh, it's a playoff point. It's like, okay. So we're really hitting the playoffs all the time. And I think there's something to be said about kind of living within a race. And you do get the other side of this that says, well, the playoffs is exciting and everybody gets a chance, right? And it's like, we start on kind of a clean slate, and that is exciting. And that's what the chase was for so long with the 10 races, and we're going to re-rack them, and then we're going to go. What if you could have both?
Do tell.
I've thought about this a lot, guys. I really have. I spent an honestly kind of an embarrassing amount of time thinking about this.
buddy, we all have.
Because like both sides, it's like, here we are, the Democrats and the Republicans. We're just feels like we're just not going to find a lot of common ground, right? It's like the guys that are going to be pro playoff and the folks that are going to be pro full season format. Nobody's really, there's not going to be like, well, and there's the compromise, right? Like that's not, it's like, it's got to be one, it's got to be the other. Okay. I want you guys to think about something. I want you to think about a sport that you're probably not thinking about. I want you to think about European soccer.
Relegation.
Yeah. Everybody would hate that.
I thought about
I would love it. I would love it.
It will be so awesome.
But Trenton, this is my idea. Have you guys ever heard of the FA Cup?
No. I haven't.
Let me explain the beauty of the FA Cup. So in British Premier League soccer, there are 20 teams, right? 20 teams that are in the top level. Now, yes, Brian, you're right. There is relegation, and theoretically, the ones at the bottom get sent down. We would never do that, especially in the charter era of NASCAR. It's just not going to happen, right? We could dream of the day when Junior Motorsports was to make it to the Cup Series by winning. Okay, yeah, it's not happening, right? They're never going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. Same thing like in other big league sports, they're never going to do it. Franchise value and all this stuff, they're just never going to do it. We're too far down the rabbit hole. But the way they determine the champion in the British Premier League is the 20 teams all play each other. The schedule for the British Premier League for those 20 teams is very simple. Well, there's 19 other teams. I play all 19 of them twice. It's a 38-game schedule. And then at the end of the schedule, whoever has scored the most points wins the British Premier League. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's like if you win the game, you get 3 points. If you tie, you get 1. If you lose, you get 0. And at the end of the league, everybody goes, yep, that was definitely the best team. They played everybody once at their place and everybody once somewhere else. The beauty of a NASCAR championship is theoretically what we're doing is we're judging the same driver and the same teams at all of these different venues, right? Like it's a short track, it's a road course, it's a speedway, it's a whatever. And so part of being a champion is being the best at everything. You got to be the best at everything, right? So like the only fair way to judge that is you add up all the points as everybody competes on an equal playing field over the course of X amount of time. That is a full season points format. And you're like, so everybody in the British Premier League likes this, right? Yes, they all like it. Nobody is talking about a format change over there in the British Premier League. It's kind of been that way for like 100 years. It's kind of been fine. All right. But they also have this thing at the exact same time as their regular season. It's not like, oh, it's the playoffs or, oh, it's this other thing. No, literally, while the championship is still going on, they have this thing called the FA Cup. And that would be like, imagine this. Imagine if we took all the Major League Baseball teams and all of the AAA teams and all of the AA teams and all of the single A teams, and we put them all in one big tournament. And then you randomly drew out of a hat, the New York Yankees are going to play the Charlotte Knights. And that's the FA Cup. And that goes along at the exact same time as the regular season. So theoretically, you're going to play your normal match league games on a Tuesday and a Saturday. And then the next week, you're going to have a cup game. And if you win your cup game, you have another cup game, right? Because then it reseeds the tournament and then you keep going. And so at the end of the year, you get down to the end of it and you have the FA Cup final, which is like basically the end of the big tournament. It's like, imagine a playoff, but if all the teams were in it, all of the teams. And then you have the FA Cup final. And then you're getting to the end of the league, right? Which sometimes somebody's already run away with the league and sometimes it's really close, but ultimately everybody at the end of it feels like it's a really good deal. So imagine this. Imagine having your cake and eating it too. NASCAR, there's 36 races on the schedule, right? Trenton, how many tracks do we go to twice?
Too many.
What are they?
Can't name them off the top of my head, but there's a lot of them.
Feels like Bryan probably could. We could do this. This is another good exercise. What are the tracks we go to twice? Bryan, your mic's muted.
Oh, Bryan.
Okay, Daytona, Phoenix,
Yep.
Vegas,
Atlanta,
Bristol, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Kansas,
Martinsville, Kansas, Talladega,
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Did we though? Did we count the Roval?
Yeah.
It's still the same track.
Same market, same track.
So 9 right now.
There's one more.
Did we say Vegas?
Yep.
Let's say Vegas. Dalton, you got it?
I don't. I was looking up the number, but I found 10.
Yeah, there's 10.
Yeah.
So and
I don't know what they've guessed so far. So
I'd have to pull back up the schedule here, but I could probably pull it. Hang on, because now it's going to bother me.
Darlington.
You go to Darlington. So there's 10,
hey,
right?
To be fair, I cheated. The last comment gave it to me, so thank you to Dan.
Good call. Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Thank
comment section. All right, so there's 10 of them, right? Well, what did we used to have? We had a 10 race playoff. There's 10 races, right?
It's a learning experience, Ryan.
So think about this. So now imagine also like every one of those races that we're talking about, right? Like there's like a big race and then there's like the other race that we have at those tracks, right? So it's like, it's the Daytona 500 and then there's this other race at Daytona, but it's, it's important. And it's like, it's the Southern 500. It's like, when it's the spring race, right? It's the throwback one, right? It's like, it's the championship Martinsville race. And it's the spring one. And it's the Bristol night race. And it's like, well, it's this other one that we threw dirt on at one time or whatever. So like we already are struggling for like, what is the identity of these places that we go to twice? What if it was a playoff? Also, think about how many tracks that we just named where it's like a colossal shit show. Where it's like, we have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen at like Martinsville, Darlington, Atlanta, Talladega, Daytona. The Roval is a complete, like, what's going on? Like, Kansas is the best mile and a half that we probably have, right? So it's like, it's literally don't change the schedule at all. You don't have to change the schedule at all. What if you had a 26 race full season points championship? And then at the exact same time, you took all full-time drivers and you put them in a playoff and you said, here's the deal. It's 4 races, or even you could do it 3-3-3-1. I don't care, but it's like 4-3-2-1. And you have the final 4 wherever you're going to have it, the last one of those races. And then at the same time, you're doing a full season points championship. And that's the idea, is like, what if we could kind of do both? Like, if one is kind of a stinker, one is definitely going to be exciting every single year. And then you're like, oh, well, the somebody's running away with the championship. Well, I mean, we've already kind of proven that they don't, right? Like, I mean, look at how tight the points are right now, right? Like, it's a next-gen car era. Like, it's probably not going to happen like that. But even if it did, all right, well, here's this crazy format with a lot of kind of wild card races in it. And honestly, we just saw in like the in-season tournament thing that they did. It's like, oh, well, who's the final? It's Ty Dillon. You're like, what? And so like every single team feels like they would go into something like that and have a shot, right? And the goal would be like, make it the first round, like cut it down to 16 and then, or whatever, like cut it down to 24 and then down to 16. And then, I mean, that would kind of be the idea. It's like you chop it down over the course of time.
Tommy, what if I told you I had a championship format that utilized the bracket with similar points from what you just mentioned with the soccer thing? So it's like 26 races. Like first you go through qualifying, first versus last every week, and at the end of the 26 races, however many wins you have, that's the extra points you get. However many head-to-head matchups you win, that's another set of points. So if you went like 20-6, that's 20 extra points, and
so you just 1v1 and everybody.
Yeah. So and then it resets to March Madness, 16 race playoff. and then everybody else is in it. Then everybody else,
My head is spinning right now.
What's that March Madness tournament that doesn't matter that people don't make it in? So you have that going on with the rest of the drivers, and you have the 16 here, but like points are also accumulated. Like if you beat the guy you're 1v1 and by 8 positions, that's 8 points because that's 8 cars that separated you. And so that's what
I kind of like the head-to-head stuff, Trenton. I really do. Like it was fun in the in-season tournament. I just think that ultimately when we start layering in a bunch of other points and all this other stuff, it's just like, why? It's like, this can be really simple. It's like, okay, here you go. Here are the points. It's a full season. There's the winner at the end of it. Great. And theoretically, in my version of this, in 26 races, you would run 26 different racetracks. And it's the same drivers and the same teams for 26 different racetracks, and that's the champion. And that's kind of the idea. And then for those other 10, it literally is just a complete disaster shit show that we all know that it would turn into, which would actually be really entertaining, right? Because you could actually be like really not very good and kind of like, well, we made it out of the first round. That was pretty cool. Which is basically what like every small team ever tries to do in the championship, right? Like anytime we're in the playoffs is like, well, how do we get to round 2, right? It's like, well, there's Talladega. Well, there's the Roval. I don't know, so there's Bristol. It's like, so we know that they could be just this like wild variance of what those races are. So lean into that and then also have a full season points championship that everybody would like wholeheartedly get behind and support.
One thing I do want to mention, one of our great comments, Michael Massey. Miss you guys. Sad I missed his Tommy Joe Martin cooking session. Honestly, he is cooking. He's cooking with fish oil and grease and everything in between. Yeah.
Massey would be absolutely loving this right now. He'd probably be just agreeing with just agreeing with you so hard.
Exactly. Before we dive into final thoughts, Tommy, is it realistic to expect change to anything? Because we were talking to Mark Martin, who's on the playoff committee, and he was like, yeah, it may just be too late because the schedule coming out, and it just may be too late to put in any extra or to change anything before the schedule comes out. Is it safe to, when you're assuming things, that's not good in itself, but is it safe to assume nothing will change for next season just because it's too late in the process?
Yeah, I don't see any big change happening. And I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but I think that Mark's more dialed in than I am. And if that's kind of the way the wind is blowing here, it feels like that, right? And we've seen that from The Athletic when they've written about it and just said, TV is playing a big role in this. And, I just would want to see, guys, like it's been so long now that we have done format tweaks and other stuff that I would feel like the ratings of these races now, even when you compare over like the natural ratings fall off that has happened over time to network television, right? So like, okay, what is that now on a playoff race compared to a race that's like in the spring, right? Or in the summer? Is it more or less? Where it's like, well, actually, because of the playoffs, it's actually been rated way, it's fallen off less. It's like, okay, well, you could probably show me that, but I just haven't seen that data. It feels like the numbers are just down across the board, like no matter what we're really doing. And ultimately, like NASCAR is a companion piece for NBC in the fall to go into football programming. Like that's really what it is, which I think is hilarious because it's like, they could literally just be like, we're playing football at 5 a.m. and people would be like, and I'm up and it doesn't matter. So like, I don't know who's in that boardroom that's like, we got to have something to lead into Sunday night football. It's like, you don't, dude. Like you really don't. It's Sunday night football. Like everybody's going to watch, man. Like, it's like it doesn't matter.
Tuesdays.
Like, bro, you could literally put, like, anything. Like I don't know what to.
If football on Christmas and people to tune in.
Antiques Roadshow could be on before Sunday night. It's not gonna matter. They'd be like, man, the ratings for Antiques Roadshow are really up this year. It's like,
wow, they're doing great.
So like part of me almost thinks like if I'm gonna put my conspiracy cap on here for a second is like does NASCAR actually like being before Sunday Night Football? Because they're like, well, maybe we get some bleed into the back end of the broadcast, right? Because that would probably make more sense to me than the other way around.
You're not wrong.
I think they kind of have to be okay with being the lead into Sunday Night Football. It's like, whether you like it or not, the NBC is going to do what they want to do, I guess.
Tommy, is there a world where that NASCAR could ever realistically compete with the NFL again like it used to in the mid-2000s?
No.
Do you think that could ever happen again?
Absolutely not. No, not at all. 0% chance. 0.00000, like all the way out. No chance that's ever happening. I am actually with our boy Kenny Wallace on that, who I believe said that ship has way sailed. I think a realistic conversation that you have to start having, and if you're not comfortable having this, then you've got your head in the sand, is like, are we more popular now in America than Formula One is? And everybody immediately that is plugged in would say, well, yeah, of course we are. Look at the television ratings. And it's like, yeah, man, I don't know that we can compare those apples to apples, though. Like, it's not apples to apples. And it feels like the engagement, especially when we talk about social media and like the way that things are consumed now, feels like that is so heavily in Formula One's favor compared to where we are. And I just feel like if we are trying to imitate them, it's too late for that, right? Like, we have to kind of create our own version of us that works. And I just see, you talk about the NFL. It's like, first of all, we don't need to try to compete with the NFL. We just need to be the best version of NASCAR that we can be. That is it. Full stop. Make the fans of NASCAR happy with NASCAR. And to anybody that says, well, the fans are always going to complain about something, it's like, okay, but when they're all complaining about the same shit, maybe like if we went to the Senate, if we went to the floor of the Senate and like 85% of the votes were in one way, it's like, hey, we should build more roads. And they're like, yeah, good idea. And it was 85%. Like, of course, there's still going to be 10% of people that are be like, well, it's a lot of money on roads. And you're like, okay, dude, we need some freaking roads, man. Like, just like chill out. Like, that's still going to happen. But like, we're in a spot now, and like Gluck and Bianchi talked about this on their podcast, and I love listening to Teardown, and they do a great job. But they were like, it feels like we're kind of at this like inflection point where it's like, it feels like the fan base is like more so than recently. There was this like, oh, well, the fans are going to be there. The fans are going to be there. And it's like, but are they? Because it feels like they're all really pissed right now. And when Dale Earnhardt Jr. is like openly talking shit about the car, and like old head people that would be this bridge for like old fans and fans that have been around for forever, guys like Matt Kenseth and guys like Tony Stewart and these people, and you listen to the way they talk about NASCAR, and it is really troubling, where you're like, they really don't like it. Like, they are like pissed off at how things are going. Carl Edwards, I mean, literally just unplugged for forever, and now he's on Amazon. I think he does a good job, but it's like literally the reason he left is he was like, man, this is kind of bullshit. So like, I mean, there's a lot of negativity, and now we're just like, everything's great. It's like, it feels like those guys could be the guys creating some of the hype for this generation, and instead they all just like left pissed off. And that to me is like, what? It's like, guys aren't retiring from the NFL and being like, dude, screw the NFL. Like, guys aren't doing that. They're like going back to the stadiums, and like they have a lot of respect from the other drivers. They want to stay connected to the NFL. They take coaching positions. It's like, what are our guys doing? They're basically like, get me the hell out of here. This sucks. It's like, what? That's not necessarily like a good sign. Like, if you found out like every hockey player that retired was like, dude, the NHL freaking sucks, bro. Like, never play in the NHL. You'd be like, what? I watch the NHL all the time. You're like, yeah, you have no idea, man. It freaking sucks. You'd be like, what? I mean, and that's literally what is currently happening.
Tommy, do you think that because I haven't asked any drivers this, but I'm curious. Do you think any of the older drivers who race in the old cars, who hate the new car, do you think that could be a reason one of them may retire sooner than what they may want to? Because they're not enjoying the car anymore. It doesn't suit them.
Like a Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, something like that?
Yeah, like just a veteran who's driven those cars.
Or Carl Edwards, who literally did just that.
Yeah, but like in the next car,
so,
you know. So
Dalton, to speak on the Carl Edwards thing, I think he was really frustrated with the format and the way the races are being called.
Yeah,
he felt like the races were being called more for entertainment than like fairness, which is he was pretty much right. Like,
yeah, so, I'm referring to it all in general.
Yeah.
Like not just the car, but everything that's occurred. And I think that with the most troubling thing to me is like, it's not just like we're all just doing this right now. It's been going on for years, and it happens once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. Like we have a bad race, and then here we go.
And I think that's why we're talking about the points. I think that's why we're talking about the points so much, because the racing's been terrible. Like if the racing was awesome, we'd be like, oh, this racing was great. Let's talk about the racing. But the racing's been terrible the past 4, 5, 6 weeks. And it's like, oh, well, we need to change the points because SVG has got 22 playoff points and he's going to make the round of 12 and to the round of 8 now. And it's spiraling.
Yeah, but to me, those are kind of dead conversations, Brian. I think what like what Trenton's talking about here is like, are we going to lose like high level people because of where we're at? It's like, I think the format does play a big part in that, where guys are like, well, what does it matter if I'm really good? All that happens is like somebody wrecks me in one race and now I'm out of the playoffs. And it's like, what? And it's like, oh, and we're going to the playoffs, guys. What are the races? Atlanta, Bristol, Roval, Talladega. It's like, oh, shit show. It's like, okay.
Basically the in-season tournament.
Right. But it's like literally like, okay, so we're going to pull the slot machine and it's like, we're going to figure out who's the winner. And it's like, well, that's not that nobody feels good about it. Like, the guys that win the championship, God almighty, it's like all those guys up there in the cup level, man, those guys are way better than I've ever been. I don't want to sound like I'm taking shots, like saying it's Mickey Mouse or anything like that. I know how hard it is to win one race. We haven't done it yet. It's really hard. It is incredibly difficult. I think, Trenton, to your question, these guys that feel like I am going through this grind and I have put myself in a position where I am on a competitive team or whatever it is, or I'm fast and all this. I think ultimately, like, it's created a world where more guys can be competitive, right? Where I feel like through a guy like Denny Hamlin, who would sit here and been like, I've been an elite level driver for like so long now, I've kind of like earned the right to be on the best team, which like, you know, of course he's not going to want anything like eroded away. Right. He wants that advantage to be like kind of held true. And honestly, man, like I think as fans, we kind of do too, like the dominant teams. Somebody would immediately probably point out in the comments here that's like, by the way, if you looked at the top like 11 in the point series standings right now, it's like 8 of them are Gibbs and Hendrick. Mm-hmm. And that's true. So maybe those elite teams still exist. But I think there is a frustration with like, if you grew up your entire life wanting to be a football player and like play quarterback, which is kind of what being a race car driver is. Like you're basically the quarterback of the team. You're going to get all the credit when things go well. You're going to get like all the blame when things aren't going well. And that's true. Like the quarterback is the only person on the team that gets a win and loss stat. And I feel like race car drivers are basically the same thing, right? Like wins or losses, like they get the blame. And you do all that, and then you got to the top level, and you were like, hey, by the way, to play quarterback, we're playing with a Nerf ball now. You'd be like, what? You're like, yeah, it's Nerf balls. Guys really like Nerf balls. The fans love Nerf balls. So TV really wants us playing with Nerf balls. You'd be like, I mean, okay. And they're like, also, there's 6 downs now. You'd be like, all right, well, that's all right. So, like, that's what I'm saying, Trent. Is like ultimately it's not just the car. It's that the whole thing feels like it's this moving target. And it's like, why are the decisions getting made? And what are the decisions getting made for? Like, I think Denny brought it up about the repave at Atlanta, right? Where it's like, okay, we have the best race car drivers in the world here. What are you trying to do? And like, there was no driver input. And everybody's like, but Atlanta's the best track. See, the drivers would have screwed it up. And it's like, well, maybe. But I'm also a believer in drivers. Like, if you said, look, we want a speedway race, we want a traditional speedway, we would have probably been like, okay, well, this is probably what you need to do. And instead, it feels like these decisions get made on the car, on the points, on approvals, on all kinds of stuff, Trenton, that it just winds up getting made so far above your input that you're kind of like, well, what's the freaking point of this? Like, am I even having fun with this? It's a frustrating car to drive. I'm faster than this person. I can't pass them. They get to aero block me all over the racetrack. Like, that's not the stock car racing that I grew up wanting to be a part of. And now I'm in it and I've reached this pinnacle and it feels like I'm not in control of like my own destiny in a lot of ways. And I think that is definitely a frustration. So do I think that we're going to lose guys early? I don't know. I think the world's getting younger, Trent. I'm getting older. You got 15-year-olds winning ARCA races and shit.
Oh,
like,
God.
it's not,
It's
not an old man's game. So like, I do think guys are going to retire earlier. And I think like ultimately, if we have a bunch of 20-year-olds that don't really have personality, that's probably not really that entertaining. There, like, who are you talking about in a Formula One grid? You're talking about the people that you've known for a little while. And so you kind of get to know these people for a while. Like, we didn't talk about Chris Buescher for forever. And now we talk about Chris Buescher and we're like, wow, he's good, man. This guy's good. Oh, he's funny. He's kind of cool. So you've kind of like gotten to know him, and it takes a while. So we just keep chucking young kids into these things. It's like, I don't know that that's necessarily going to wind up being the thing.
One thing that I don't want to have retire is Tommy Joe Martin sharing his input and thoughts and feelings, because he's been spitting facts all episode long. Let's wrap it up here, Tommy Joe. You got 3 races till the Xfinity Series playoffs. What are you going to be looking forward for your drivers in the final 3 races, and then the rest of the season leading up to Phoenix?
I think there's a lot of focus on Daytona right now. Obviously, that's the next thing there. It also represents a race where we have seen with a lot of guys feeling like, well, this might be my only shot to make the playoffs. And you see a lot of aggression. So because of that, obviously, that race can go a lot of different ways. We finished top 5 there with Sage Karam in one of our cars. It looked not very pretty when he crossed the line in 5th place. So the races there at Daytona in the summer generally tend to get pretty messy. So I would like to think that we could probably make it through that in some way. And then the focus is going to turn to getting up there to Portland. I mean, this is a short little stretch for us. We actually I think we get a break. I think we go 4 in a row, and then we get a break, and then we do the other 6 in a row. I think. Don't quote me, but I think that's the way it shakes out. So really, there's just a focus in this little chunk that's coming up here.
Yep, you're right. 4 and then an off week.
Yeah, so we built a little momentum with, I feel like, each one of our teams here in the last little bit. 45 teams had some consistent runs, like had a tough deal at Iowa where they broke, but really had been in the top 25 for a few weeks leading up to that, and it kind of started building some consistency there. They're a little down in the points, but just want to see improvement here. The 4 team went through literally the worst. Parker Retzlaff went through probably the worst stretch of races I've literally ever seen a human being go through. It felt like it didn't matter. It was if there was a wreck, he was in it. If it was something was messed up, it was on his car. It just didn't matter. Couldn't do anything right. And now finished 13th at Iowa, finished 14th at Indianapolis. So feels like, he finished 22nd at Watkins Glen, but got spun out running like 10th there at the end. He was the car that got spun out there on the last restart, whatever. I mean, ultimately we just see improvement, right? So like, we just want to continue that on.
Mr. Dalton Hopkins, are you writing anything for FrenchRich.com? And then when is your next race for us?
Yeah, I believe I'm actually writing Thinking Out Loud this weekend.
Okay.
And I will be at Daytona. So I'll see you there, Tommy. And best of luck to you. Best of luck to you and the rest and your truck drivers. I'll be there I'll shake their hand. I'll be like, man, you're doing God's work.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. I appreciate it, Dalton. Thank you.
Trenton, what about you? I think you're going to a cars race this weekend?
Yep, right here up the road from Greenville, Anderson, South Carolina, Cars Tour.
Yeah.
The 2001 MLB car Dale Jr. won. That scheme is racing with Dale Jr. that night. So that iconic pink scheme is going to be ripping around Anderson. And yeah, it looks like we have a stacked field. There's some locals racing. There's some Cars Tour regulars, of course, racing, and then Dale Jr. So that's going to be, hopefully it doesn't get rained out, calling for storms, but it's close enough so I'll be able to be there all weekend if need be. So praying for weather.
If they race, first of all, I love the Cars Tour. It's amazing racing. I was lucky enough I got to do one of those races last year. Had a ton of fun. We were terrible. Still just had a ton of fun.
You can come race the South Carolina 400. I mean, that's.
I would love to. I mean, tire wear race like that, love it. I mean, love it. Okay, if we were to make a bet right now, right? There's 32 cars in a Cars Tour race. Is that right? Is it 32 or 36? 28. Yeah. Where do they start? 28.
I'm looking.
Because I know in the Xfinity Series it's 38, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I said percentage-wise of the field that's going to get wrecked at Daytona versus
16 Car Tour races, about 15 or 16 Car Tour races.
Okay, so how many cars start every race? Like 30, 20?
It's definitely in the mid 20s. I don't know the exact number, but it's high 20s.
Let's say it's a Dale Jr. race. Let's say they pack it in there, right? Let's say it's 30 cars in the race or whatever it is. So over under number of cars torn up in the Cars Tour race versus the Xfinity race.
Well,
at Daytona.
There's gonna be more in the Xfinity race.
Well, I don't know if you saw the Hickory replay, but there was they sent full sense of
That's
Hickory.
what I'm saying.
That was for 50K though. That was for 50.
That was for a lot. That was a big one. Yeah.
But there's just
we basically wrecked half the field. We wrecked half the field at Hickory.
I remember like the 2 a.m. race that got over that Jeremy Clemens won. Like you guys destroyed that literally like the entire field.
Yeah, that was the one where Sage finished 5th with a car.
Okay, there you go.
Because there's only like 8 cars left in the field.
Yeah, it was me lighting up a cigar at like 3 a.m. Yeah, I felt like we were on a bender.
Yeah.
I don't know. Daytona, you guys got guys fighting for the playoff live, so I feel like that'd get a little bit more rough than a Cars Tour race would.
Okay, so you say more in Xfinity? We're saying
coming to the end.
I would say
probably more. Coming to the end, playoff spots on the line. I mean, guys are gonna be shipping in their final turn and
Xfinity. I'll go Xfinity.
More cautions. How about that? More cautions.
Cars. Yeah, cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the Cars Tour race, more cautions.
Well, cars have like one brake, whereas Xfinity has a stage brakes. Cars don't have the stage brakes.
So you got me by one.
If you count the cautions. But also, here's the thing, Tommy. I don't know if you know this, but with Cars Tour races, if you're in the wreck, regardless if you're the victim or the cause, you go to the back of the field.
Oh, I learned
that doesn't happen. So
I learned that because I avoided a wreck and spun myself, and they were like, "You're in the back." And I was like, okay, well.
You should have heard the crowd at Florence when they did that to Dale Jr. at the 400 a couple of years ago. They had to do the same thing to him, send him to the back. So
I
love it.
You know what? I think the Xfinity Series could probably use a rule like that. Probably wouldn't be necessarily the worst idea.
Yeah. For me, I just got back from IndyCar in Portland, Will Power One, so that was fun. But I'm going back to Portland in a couple weeks. I'll see Tommy there. And hopefully he will be locked into the playoffs with a surprise win. So you never know. Crazier things have happened at Daytona. So it'll be interesting to see. But Tommy, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. And if not, we hope to have you on again. You will be on again because Ryan Ellis says that we didn't even get the time to talk about your spreadsheets that Ryan Ellis thinks.
Yeah, we got to catch up on that.
So we got to talk about that the next time. Okay, so we'll have you on again later in the season.
All right, thanks, guys.
Awesome. For Tommy, Joe Martins, Trenton Worsham, Dalton Hopkins, Michael Massey, I'm Bryan Nolen. Thank you so much for joining us. This was another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour Show.